Do you see the screen? Someone tell me.
Yes, sir.
Okay. This was the slide from yesterday. This is what we discussed already. So we found probability for this situation. We decided the desirable event. We found probability. Then we introduced the random variables. The random variables are quantities that is depending on a chance. So the whatever we have written in blue color is recording whether the entry into the canteen is a boy or girl. We have no control over those entries, those who enter into the canteen. Simply we sit and record. There are 16 possibilities. As you have suggested here, we are using product rule and sum rule for counting techniques. And then we are defining the capital X equal to number of boys. Our choice. You can define capital Y equal to number of girls. That also you can do. Then capital Y will take values based on a particular possibility, based on a particular element from the sample space. Then once we have this random variable definition and we know the possible values for the random variable, here only 5 values are possible for capital X. I cannot simply write capital X equal to 100. Then it means 100 number of boys, which is not in my experiment. So once I have the random variable definition and the possible values for the random variable, then I can talk about probability. What is the probability for 2 boys? Now this 2 boys category is already written there. 6 entries are there. So 6 out of 16. So this is the definition. And yeah, here we have written the probabilities of each random variable value. And this we mentioned, we did not write in the class. Later I have written. A probability distribution is actually a probability rule for the random variable. Meaning, here we have the probabilities. You can simply write them in a table. Or you can simply write like this also. This itself is a probability distribution. Meaning, you are giving me the probability for each category. And also, you have listed all category probabilities. You are not leaving any particular category. If you give me the complete information about the probabilities, that I call as probability distribution. Remember, complete information. Okay. Probability distribution is a rule that assigns probabilities to different values of the random variable. Here we have 5 different values. This probability law is called as probability distribution of the random variable. If you change the random variable, the possible values of the random variables will change. Then the probability distribution also will change. This was one experiment. And also we observe each probability is greater than or equal to 0. And if I add all these probabilities, I am getting 1. Because our random variable values are covering all the categories. So the sum of the probability is equal to 1. We could verify from the table also. And this is another way of representing. So these are the 3 possible ways of representing a probability distribution. We want to write down the complete information about the probabilities of each value of the random variable. This is a similar experiment that we left as homework. This is another experiment. Here also you can check the sum of the red colored probabilities are equal to sum of the probability is equal to 1, 36 by 36. I think with that we stopped. Anyone is having doubts so far? Someone speak. If you have any doubts or questions or suggestions, you are welcome. Then we shall proceed further. Do you follow this so far? Someone speak.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then you can try many other examples. Okay. Now I want to infer from the table. What do I have from the table? First, here look at this third representation. Instead of this probability x equal to x, I wanted to write that complete information as a function. So now I shall define what kind of function this is. Okay, based on this table and based on the picture and based on the function representation, I want to write down. The reason is that suppose if my capital X is taking values, number of values, say 500 number of values or 1000 number of values, I cannot write the table. Picture I can write, but still I need 1000 points in the x-axis. Instead of that, I can simply write what is my f of x function definition. It need not be like these entries. It may be kind of formula also. We shall look at. Now we want abstraction for this probability distribution. 3 ways of representing probability distribution. I want abstraction, meaning instead of table and instead of picture, can I write some function definition? Suppose if I write what kind of function it is. Okay. Even first, let me write down those desired properties. Okay. So what do I have? I have a random experiment and I have the random variable. Before that, we can talk about types of random variables. Today we will discuss that also. Types of random variable. There are two major types. One, discrete random variable. Just now we have seen them. You see, capital X takes these values. So how many values it is taking? 11 values it is taking. Look at our experiment here. How many values it is taking? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 values it is taking. And you can talk about discrete. I have used the term discrete. Yeah, I think we have already have seen the meaning of this discrete. Individual things. Okay, you can count them actually. This is the first student, this is the second student, this is the third student. Or you can count this is the first box, second box, third box, fourth box. You can number them. Suppose if I give you a glass of water, you cannot say this is the first drop, second drop, third drop and all. Suppose another thing is continuous random variable. I can talk about various examples. Discrete random variable we have seen just now. Capital X equal to number of students in our class or number of students in a beta class at NIT Puducherry. It may be 30 or 60 or 59. The capital X takes values from 1 to 69. say for example, discrete numbers. Whereas this continuous random variable, we cannot split them, we cannot count them one by one. For example, suppose if I say that just we are writing examples only, okay? Suppose if we say that x equal to temperature, or simply in our main gate they are checking the body temperature, simply we write temperature, okay? Temperature at a particular point, I should say, say body temperature, you will say, at the different times, of course, or simply temperature of this room, simply room temperature. Yeah. You see, it cannot be 30 degrees Celsius and 31 degrees Celsius or 29 degrees Celsius. It cannot be only these three numbers. Okay. Temperature in appropriate context, you can think. So it will be ranging from here to there. Suppose if you consider this is room temperature in Karaikal, here it is from 27 to 31 degree. All these values will be taken. Do you understand this context, this idea? You cannot skip a number. Say suppose here example I will say that capital X equal to number of heads, or simply I am writing number of boys. Meaning this will take numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, say till 60 possibly. I cannot have 1.5 for this capital X. Do you see that? Discrete values only will be taken by the random variable. But here, this random variable can take any value in between 27 to 31, 27.3 degree. That also will be taken. Possible. Here it is not possible. You cannot say 27.3 boys are there. Can somebody give me some other example? Another random variable. Another example. Example 1. Somebody try another example quick. We'll proceed then.
Number of pages in a book.
Excellent. Number of pages in a book. Let us be more specific. Number of pages in what subject we deal with? Probability statistics. In Gupta book. This is our textbook, okay? Gupta is author name. Okay. We should be specific usually. Any other example for this? It need not be capital X. It can be any letter. We are not worrying about this letter, of course. Can you give one more example for this?
Weights.
Weight. Weight of a student in our class, of course. One more example. Any other example?
Distance.
Distance, length, that's what I wanted to write, okay? Distance. Distance. We should be careful. Distance. Complete the sentence.
Between two objects.
Then there is no randomness, okay? If you talk about distance between two objects, okay. How do I rectify that? Distance between two objects. Say for example, distance between canteen to science block. There is no randomness involved. Anybody can compute. The same value will be occurring. Distance from. How do I modify this example? This idea is okay. If you consider distance, it cannot be discrete. So what should I do?
So, okay.
Delhi to Bangalore. If you fix that, then again anybody can compute.
Sir, distance between movable objects like vehicles.
Distance between movable objects. Then you have to fix the objects. You have to talk about those objects. Yeah, you are right. Distance between movable objects. So first you should talk about the two objects which are moving. Then you have to declare that it is distance between them. Consider um, a train from Delhi to Nagpur or from Bangalore to Guwahati, something like this. Both trains, they are moving. Now you are calculating their distance between them. It is varying. Or you can simply say the distance from NITPY, main gate of course, to your native. Will it be varying? Various points will be there, right? Will it work? Distance from
So for a particular person, it will always be the same.
we should change different persons. Instead of that, distance between.
So like
Yeah.
distance between NITPY gate to a person's current location. Like he may move here and there.
That's what I was thinking. That's what I have written native. But you mentioned if you consider same student. So distance between two particles in what I write? Distance between two particles in this room. This is it. Or in a river. Something is moving. That's what you said already. Two moving objects. Also, simply you can consider every time. Suppose if you are having a plenty of metal wires, if you have, consider their length of the metal wire. What are the possibilities? Okay. Here, give me one more example for this. Number of bytes, number of pages in book. Some other example. Discrete only. Okay. Here you could see that this pattern. Here you can say number of heads in an experiment. Anything is fine. Two types of random variables. Okay. Now, if you look at this continuous random variable, how many values are possible from 27 to 31? Or for the weight, how many values are possible? There are infinite number of values. Then we cannot write like this table. If the values are 10 or 100 or 1 crore, we can write a lengthy table. But if the values taken by the random variable is infinite, if it is infinite, we cannot, not only infinite, they are uncountable. If you mark two temperatures, if you take average for those temperature, you will get a new temperature in between. Do you understand the problem? I cannot write a table. Then I have to go for a function. Before that, now I'll observe these properties. I'm observing maybe I'll be considering from here. 3 properties I observe. First one, all these probabilities are greater than or equal to 0. First observation. Then I see that if I add all these probabilities, I am getting 1. This is my second observation. Third observation, this probability and my function at a particular small x value, they are same, they are not different. These 3 properties I observe. If some function is satisfying these 3 properties, that I call as probability function. Whatever I explain is from this screen. All the 3 properties I shall list out now. What are the properties? My function should be non-negative. And suppose if the random variable, maybe I should write that also. Okay. For a discrete only I am considering now. For a discrete random variable, capital X, with possible values, the capital X can take some countable number of values with possible values. Say these are the first value, second value, third value. Let me take only these values it is taking. Okay. This is non-negative. And another thing, if I add all these function values, then I should get 1. One more important property is that whatever I write as a function is actually the probability for that particular value. Suppose if you want to write this third condition as the first condition, that's okay. But since I am talking about this f of x, I need f of x. I am here. I have a name for that. Probability mass function. For a discrete random variable capital X with possible values, this and a probability mass function. A probability mass function is a function with these properties such that these conditions are satisfied. Here I have written, if I consider this particular value, that particular probability I am talking about. Meaning this I can be 1 to n. Meaning this third condition is happening for each value. Not only this third condition, this first condition also is happening for each value. For all I equal to 1 to n, this is happening. Here, the summation is for all these possible values. This is it. Here also I should write for all. This is the definition of probability function. Whenever we have discrete random variable, we call it as probability mass function. It's like we are assigning a weight. We are assigning a mass to a particular random variable value. That weight is actually the probability. You see, for this xi, we are assigning this number. For this xi. Or it's like if you want to draw the picture, it will be this is x1, x2, x3, x4. For this, you are assigning a weight, something like that. This we have already seen, and so I do not write here. Do you understand this? Hereafter, we want to find out a function satisfying these three properties. The third property is the key property. The remaining two properties, once you have decided the third one properly, the remaining first two properties can be observed from the table. Even though if I write a summation, just let me write down here. Observe, I am writing f of xi is greater than or equal to 0. That means this probability for that particular value, of course, is always non-negative. Sum of these probabilities is 1. These things we know already, but I am not writing in terms of P. I am writing in terms of F. Is it okay? Because hereafter I want to make abstraction. And there is one other thing also I can write from the picture. Suppose if somebody want, what is the probability till this 2? You see the, say this is written as probability for x less than or equal to this value. Meaning what is the probability till this? Can somebody tell me what is the probability for getting 0 buys or 1 buy or 2 buys? Any idea about this? Quick.
11/16.
You are adding all these. So you are adding the probabilities. You are adding each probability where this x is 0, 1 or 2. This also we can abstract. This we call as cumulative distribution function. Cumulative distribution function is till a particular value. we will be writing this again. I shall erase it, of course, okay. Or with the same terminology, we shall proceed further. Cumulative distribution function. Shortly written as CDF. It is with the same terminology. Suppose if the notation is capital F, if you write like this, it means the probability till this value. A specific value I am writing, small x is a specific value. It is actually the sum of the probabilities for these specific values where this value is less than or equal to x. Now compare with, you need cumulative probability till 2. Then you need for this. Then you need probability for any number where that number is less than or equal to 2. You know that xi is 0, xi is 1, xi is 2. All these three values will satisfy here. If you write xi equal to 4, it is not satisfying this summation condition. Okay. Called as cumulative distribution function. This is a notation, capital F of x. This is a definition. We can observe a few more things from here. you need not write only like this. You can write f of x is actually summation of xi less than or equal to x. Instead of this p, you can write f of xi. That also is correct. We are using synonymously. And one more thing, whenever you talk about this cumulative distribution function, that value is always between here. It will start from 0. It will reach 1 if you compute for all the values. And one more property, if you have smaller value less than or equal to this greater value, then this wait a second. Can somebody tell me what is the relationship between their cumulative probabilities? If x is less than or equal to y, then what is the relationship between this total probability till that, this cumulative probability till that?
Less than or equal.
Gradually you are adding your summation. We are doing summation. Okay. This is one definition. Shortly called as CDF, the notation is capital F of x. Till this small x, what is the cumulative probability? But how do we find this? That we will do. Before that, we see that if somebody is giving me this f of x, that is enough. I can talk about the table or the picture representation. This f of x is enough to describe a probability distribution. So probability mass function is enough. Okay, here I'm discussing for only discrete random variable. Maybe the short notation also we shall give the same color. Okay. This is just to recall. So this is not having any relevance with our present discussion for the definition, of course. Now, once if you write a probability distribution, we want some properties of that. First property is mean, then variance. So maybe I'll list them out. In a probability distribution, instead of saying in a probability distribution, we want to assess expected values. We want to get some values of a random variable. Even we will not write this. Expected values of a random variable, meaning we want what is mean of the random variable. Mean, variance, and median, mode. What else is remaining? Mean, variance, mode, standard deviation. For a random variable, we can compute these 5 values which will describe about probability distribution. It's like some basic properties. To be more specific, you can simply write down the probability distribution in this manner. Then I will ask you, tell me something more about this, some behavior kind of thing, or how do I understand this? For that, we need these numbers. Already I mentioned, right? We always need quantification. If I say that you are having much intelligence, people ask you, what is that IQ number? If I say that you are taller in class, people ask me, how much tall? Give me the number. If I say that someone is overweight or underweight, they always ask the number, even for the blood test and all. They need a number, how much hemoglobin count, how much these blood cells, everything. We need these numbers which are mentioned on the screen for describing a probability distribution in more detailed way. Before that, I want to define these things. First one, mean. Okay. First one, mean. Let me take some example. Before giving the definition, we shall look at an example. Okay. Suppose if there are 5 students in a class, 5 students, they are getting some marks, something like this. Say in our cycle test, the 5 students are getting cycle test. Okay. Continuous assessment for 20 marks. First we will do this. Then if we get any idea, then we will define what is mean. This is the usual mean. Suppose if 5 students, okay, marks are obtained as say 11 marks, 17 marks, 9, 15, something like this. Okay. What else I should write? I don't want to write low mark. Okay, let it be there 8. Doesn't matter. These are the marks. Okay. Someone tell me what is the average mark in the class? Only 5 students. Tell me average mark in the class, quick. $12. Okay, I agree with that. 28, 36. Yeah, 12 mark is the average. Now, there are some 50 students in the class, okay? And increasing. That was somewhat easy. Now, there are 50 students in the class. Now, only these marks are obtained, okay? The same number of marks. But the number of students are different. This mark is obtained by 20 students. This mark is obtained by 7 students. This mark, 9 mark, is obtained by 3 students. 12 students. Let it be 11 students. And 9 students. 20, 40, 50. Okay. Only 5 marks are obtained. But each mark is obtained by many students. Okay. Now someone tell me the average mark in the class. How do I do it? First you tell me, then we will do it. Average mark in the class. How should I compute?
Multiply marks with a number of students for each and divided by 15.
Divided by 15. Wait a second. Let me write it down so that everybody will check it. Average mark I need, okay? Or simply let me write down average. Wait a second. I think it's almost okay. Average. How do I get it? So first, 50 students, okay? Suggest me that. What did you say? I think somebody has typed something. 13.62. That's okay. We need methodology. We are not interested.
Number of students into marks obtained.
Summation of number of students into marks by 50.
Marks by 50. Okay. So you want 7 times 11. Is it so? Seven times 11 marks are obtained plus 20 times 17 marks are obtained. Is it? Or anything else you suggested?
Yes.
This is the total mark, okay? Total obtained marks. Divided by 50, you said that.
Yes, sir. 50.
I can write this like I can write this. I'm rewriting instead of computing. I'm rewriting 11. This 50 is dividing everywhere, okay? 11, 7 by 50 plus 17, 20 by 50. Is it okay? 9, 3 by 50. I am just dividing this 50 with each term in the numerator. Okay. Still the number is same. Are you understanding this part? Now, can you comment on this 7 by 50? Out of the 50 students, 7 students, do you understand this blue color encircled thing? Out of 50 students, 7 students have secured 11 marks. Out of 50 students, are you understanding this part? Out of 50 students, 20 students are getting 17 mark. Suppose if I say that this capital X equal to these marks, can someone tell me the relationship or the keyword we need? Are you understanding this part? Or you tell me what is probability for getting 15 marks? Tell me the probability.
Eleven by 50.
There are 50 students. 11 students are favorable. Your computation is correct. I am reframing it. So what do I have here? Here I am having 11 probability for securing 11 marks plus 17 probability for securing 17 marks. 9 probability for securing 9 marks. In the same way. Instead of this, let me write down mean. So if you want to define mean, we shall be defining in this way. This is just a motivating example. This is what naturally we do. Okay. Maybe one more thing also I'll write. Probability of x equal to 8 is 9 by 50. If, maybe now I'll define, if you need a mean, mean, if you need, then mean of a random variable, of course. This notation we shall use, E of x. What is the definition? I have to write xi, probability for, say, x1, let me write down. Probability for x1. Another value, probability for that value. And in the value, probability for that last value. This is the natural idea obtained from the previous slide. Name mean of a random variable capital X with possible values x1 to xn. The terminology is as usual. Usually we with possible values x1, x2, xn. Usually don't write it. There is another name mu. So what we conclude is mu or E of x, these are the two notations we shall be following, is defined as summation of the random variable values corresponding probabilities for all possible values. This is it. This is how we define mean of a random variable or mean of a probability distribution. Both are okay because random variable and a probability distribution are closely related. We shall stop at this point. If you have any questions, you can ask me now.